Good evening, folks. It's 2042 on the 18th day, second month, 2023. What I'm looking at here is part of the sagatization of the northern half of Australia that's going to be continuing and ongoing over the next 2 weeks. Yes, I said 2 weeks. On and off this area, you can expect all the flow of the tropics with all the non-merciful weather that it brings with it. Add the geoengineers and the beams and the bombs, and you get yourself a recipe for some localized disasters along areas of planned development routes, so to speak, development of agendas, development of the riches of those in charge of making plans. That's right, plans that people trust are not always things to be trusted by everybody else. So as I go in here now in towards Monday, you'll see that you've been inundated with most of your tropical flow headed towards from east to west, because all this has come through here with a beam braided down through various Venturi effects of these islands and various vortices caused between these islands to work the moisture down. Yeah, and I've been watching this move for a while, many years. It's typical. It brings it in more subtly than getting it over an open ocean and going whammo, and it brings in a huge cyclone. You could just kind of bring it in batches, and that's what you're going to get. Notice the square line to that. Yeah, it doesn't seem like around a circulation, but you know, when rumors and cons are circulating about contrails and being allowed to last longer than when they become up to ambient air temperature, where they couldn't become a condensate anymore, you know, they would just go away, dissipations. You know, check that science out and see. Ask the meteorologists if they understand about electromagnetic frequency and beams, like such as this great big blast here, which is centered like over Alaska over here, where I'm kind of pointing at a place known as HARP. Those other stations here in China, this takes a bit of a cooperation. And usually when I see this move here to go, there's been a CME, and then within about, let's see, because the funnel is this way here, it's going to burp up some cold air from Antarctica that'll end up coming in up under the coast over here. Actually, probably in about 4 or 5 days, come under Africa and then influence your weather here. It's also going to cause a vortex of cold air to come down around the north and start this circulation for the moving around of the toxic plume over here in Ohio Noble that occurred when they decided to set train cars on fire full of stuff that should never have been set on fire. You know, bad enough to toxify one town, but to burn up a whole area, that was an idiocy. So as you can see, we've had a beaming event in the typical. Remember I said they were going to have a big beam and then there was going to be a CME? Yeah, we had both. There was a big blast, and there's that to cover it up. But they needed that for weather manipulation. Now the tendril over here near Hawaii has started its turn. Right, you see how it cut it down here, backed it up. That began to bunch up and rotate. Right, it begins to rotate, and that cut that off, and it's sending it up and around. That'll go visit the Pacific, and that cold air that's going to help bubble down, creating a polar vortex. Watch how it dissipates and you're running into a line. It's very interesting watching the moisture interact with these big beams and what happens to them. Yeah, that's how you call studying them, because you're like, what the hell? Hey, wait a minute, the lie doesn't pan out. Even then, when you look in here, you'll see a pulse right at the very end. Let me see if I can get it up there. Come on. There's a couple of Antarctic pulses right here. Right, I'm going to do a zoom bit on this and let you see what I'm talking about. You'll start to see some of the pulses in the actual thing itself that says that ain't a CME. Look at that line through there. That's a pulse. See that straight line through there? That's a pulse. You see the fingerprint right there? That's a whammo. That's an atmospheric dimpling, which will end up causing a mirroring effect from plasmoids forming in the upper atmosphere of various kinds, depending on the chemicals there. We're reporting a huge aurora. Well, this is absolutely going to disturb the ionosphere down near the poles where the polar outjet comes out. Yeah, this is a complicated but simple thing. Man-made weather sucks. We shouldn't be doing it, and don't believe lies, because you got a lot of emanation pulses here. It's just showing up a lot. Don't believe all the excuses. See the curve around here? This is quite a pulse. Another one here. Boom, 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 boom. This part of the world is not always facing the sun when there's a CME, and during solar minimum, you shouldn't have hardly any solar mass ejection, and dang sure not as many sunspots as we're seeing historically under solar minimum conditions, which the sun cycle is at right now. So I'll go back to this here now as we get into Tuesday the 21st. You see the inundation has been non-stop, and the totals are going to get quite high at the end of the 10s. Nothing's going to dry out. Right? There's not a chance when soil could dry on the top and go to dust, but you go a meter down, it still is like a well. And you go, oh well, no roots are going to grow in that very well. They're going to rot unless your fruit harvest in a couple places due to storms. Yeah, it's been bad. You ain't the only one suffering. I'll tell you, there's wet east of Pretoria, Africa is about to have a really big flood problem. Looking about 3/4 of a meter of rain going to impact them right around their harvest time for their fruits and stuff that we all need for our veg. We don't want fake chemicals that say, well, this is what that's made of. I want Mother Earth to say, no, this is what you need. Mother Earth is what you're made of. And well, Mother Earth deserves better treatment than we're doing now. Because as I get to the end of the tens and I have a look at the pressure here to take you beyond that, you get a bubble up that clearly from Antarctica. It's going to cause a lot of stability here as this comes over, causing some storms in Tassie and a sweep across this state here. I'll tell you, but there's one line that's going to come in here about, I think it's the 21st or 22nd. I should start writing these down, make it faster, but that's what I could just show you, right? And this is the weather plan for you to have a line of storms barrage through here on a weekend. Did you have some protestations planned here? Has Dan the Gland made it piss down again? I don't know. All I know is Kanbami is descending upon Australia again on the weekend, and for your ride home along this coast road, you get the Soggy Bottom boys again, pissing it down on top of you. You know, this will be your afternoon on Monday coming home, and you can watch the storms follow you home again, pretty much like that same thing that happened last time. As that fucks off, this bubble will close up. Boom! It's going to pinch off a little low here that has to get spit up that way. So I'm watching for a circulation to form very suddenly when this bubble up goes south. Right, that'll bubble down there. The low dog is over this direction here and is very low. It was something like 940. That's a raging wind. So everything is trying to find that. Right, because high flows toward low. That'll go toward it. So everything's pointing that direction, which stalls things from going around normally like that. So that makes these last a little bit longer. As that drags and this corridor opens up a big bubble, it should spit some more cold here to become another low. This will come, it should just work the coast and then spit inland, because the wall of EMF they keep along this wall makes it very difficult for it to just come down the coast properly. They put one beam off coastline here on the Monday, and that thing will never go down. It just sits there. One beam off the coast there walks it that way. So this is going to be a very iffy situation. But judging by the tendrils of moisture, this is going to come over and then boom, a little moisture back each time it bubbles in until that snaps. And then that closes, and you're going to have this will then be free to move across this part of your country. That's what I see happening there. And that'll be about, let's see if this is the 27th, end of February, March, April. That'll be about the 4th, 5th of March. Beware the Ides of March. It's the 5th, isn't it? Right. Beware the Ides of March this year. I'm just going to say it. At New Zealand, you watched what rolled by. I'm really, let's just have some prayers for those folks of what they've gone through. Please let the relatives be able to call each other who are alive. The death toll is extremely high. We're looking in the thousands, if it's ever reported accurately. But 4,000 people was reported as 400 in Lismore. Never forget how many died. They're not missing. They just went unaccounted for. Nobody claimed it. They didn't tell the numbers of the John Does. It's a very sad situation when geoengineering is used to grab land. A bayonet in the back would be easier to take than to watch your belongings floating down a river, right? And then be told it's global warming, and you'll look and you see stuff like this. You'll learn about chem bombs, and you'll learn about EMF, and you'll learn what happened during your storm was done by greedy corporate people that fund a geoengineering program that's proposed, not even agreed upon legally. It's just litigated. It just says what they want to propose, and it's funded by the United Nations peoples that fund all the vaccine programs, the Gates, the couch groups. It's just so many vested interests, even just the alumina industry alone, from the aluminum they're spraying on you. Isn't that turning up in the heads of Alzheimer's patients? And we're going, Well, add to that the vaccine, add to that the aluminas and your deodorants, your other things, and I think you've made a toxic paste upon your body of which you never wanted. because we just want to be healthy. We want a better life for our kids than we had. And I'm seeing us leaving a worse world than I even was born into. And this is the opposite of why I came here. I came here to heal and make better. As I watch the interaction of this EMF blast go against this here, you'll start to see that churn. It's an EMF wall. And that's going to create a circulation. It's going to go toward this coast and help the dynamics of bringing flow from the ocean in to meet this area. Because storms, you got some incredible heat coming across your country in some places too. But then incredibly cold nights. It's just going to create dust storms out west, which I'll be expecting to see settling on your cars. So you'll have to determine what those are when you see that dust. Please don't blow up my ass. Robert, what is it? I'm expecting to see desert dust. And it comes in a lot of colors, okay? And it is magnetic, some of it. And some of it's highly toxic. Leads, arsenics, and such as in the dust of fertilizers that have blown in the air from farmlands and then settled out there. There's a lot of toxic things to take into account when we look at our air. And we dang sure need to have fully disclosed what in the fuck is in this. We deserve an honest answer. Because my eyes know you can't disguise the skies. Do you understand that? You will not disguise the skies from my eyes. Because I realize the real lies that you tell on the tell lie vision. Programming. Chem bombs suck. They're ruining our world. And they're planning to flood you out again, Catherine. All the bombs are just pointing right at you. This is not a holy round storm. This is an unholy, ungodly squareness here that we're going to confront squarely. What's this, a caption to put in here? Well, just write chem bombs suck or help sign Mother Earth. Well, I'm here to help Mother Earth, aren't you? What's the percentage left in the population they want when I look at this full skylashes over here or the Groucho mustache? With chem bombination going on every side of it. Flat deer, bomb, 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 bomb. Unacceptable. Bureau of Morons, the bomb, 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 hiding bombs, BOM, bomb, hiding bombs. They're liars. They're liars and murderers and complicit in murder. Premeditated if they hit a forecast that far. If I can tell you 11 days out exactly where a fucking storm's going to hit, around Auckland, in Auckland, and I said Auckland, it was right there, parked there. They got hit. One suburb didn't get it while the other did. Shame on you for even pointing it out. Just go help the people that now have nothing. And thank God it ain't you. As the bombs go off the coast here, and I know the Great Barrier Reef over here ain't enjoying that very much, and I know they got cans in this area and this sites of some very heavy rains over the next 5 days. And the continual bombing over here, the shock waves over the water, causing infrasonic undulations through the water, is not healthy for creatures that use sonic location and various magnetic locating things that we've never even taken the time to understand. We might have those capabilities ourselves, but we can't even understand that everything else in the world matter. We're so worried about black matter more than white matter more than black, and green matter more than everything else. The green going in the wallets of our oppressors. Meanwhile, things are dying bleached on the ocean floor from acids. People are dying choking on this air and being told it's something else and sold a medication that'll never help them because you're going to go right back outside and breathe acid. Acid rain is turning up in the air in this area yesterday. And I'll get some more results today from any of this rain. We'll stick litmus paper, the little paper that just tells you the pH. I don't want to know all the chemical things you imagine. I just want pH numbers. That's all I want. Acidic, alkaline, what you got? Well, above certain numbers, no frags or anything can live, and no eggs will happen. I want to know these numbers, okay? Let's just look at numbers. Let's stick with facts. I don't always trust all the test papers, but litmus paper is pretty solid stuff. You take your pee with it for pH. A lot of diabetics and people that do diets are very familiar with the body electric and how important it is to keep your potassium levels, everything just right, to adjust your pHs. Well, I'll tell you what. This is a piss take, this guy right here. So I'm going to go right back onwards, and I'll go into a little more, show you what's going on right now. Right, the storm's predictably going along here. The wicked glitch is blasting full on out here in the tropics. This is just your last 1 hour, and it's all I'm gonna let roll. I'm hoping this is rolling, actually. Yes. I need a drink. Right. Thank you for the medicine, people. Mount Isa. The storm yet twice as nice over you and then right along the road. I told you they want that road. They want this intersection especially. That's an important place. That's an important spot. Yeah, look, you got a loopy train spot there for turnaround. Oh, yeah, that's an important spot. Great place for a relocation camp. Huh? Over there, and look, they can make clones that eat curry. I don't know. This town here seems quite a logistical importance there. If I was looking at maps of logistics and war, I said, yeah, you have to have that crossroad has to go. They can get good supplies through there now. Put a tower there to watch them. Go up here, yeah, flood that inland part so nobody can leave in the little boats, but the boats coming from here can still get in riding the tide. Because the tide is high and you're going to be holding on if you're not careful. This area is definitely in the sights of the Geo Bastards, and the Camp Bombardiers have got your fucking name all over it. Toxic skies for you and die. Come on now, fuck you bastards playing my skies, can't you see? I'm sick of spraying planes, do. How many years must I complain, do. My laundry has some strange brown stains, do. Some people shit out their brains. Do. Boom 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 boom. What the fuck you think about that? I think that's sex. Yeah, I could go through a whole song like that. And all these toxic skies, all these false skylashes on the planet is just about as fake as most people profile pictures. Orlando Kane is being brewed up. It's actually over here, Alan. You were showing something over here. That's a total different corridor. That's filling the lake up here so they can pump water. Yeah, Nestle always gets theirs. Be a great inland resort. We could make like a new Milton Keynes there. Right. See it there? There's your Orlando Kane. What? It's on the low deck right here. It's coming in. That's your low. They split an EMF beam. Is going to send a second one. This is just going to be interactions between high and low pressure and waves pulsing through. It's not going to be a spinner. Here's your spinner. Right there. It's riding against an EMF line. This is trying to come down. It's meeting a wall, and it moves along it. See it on the low deck? That's Orlando Kane. Very specific, and that's why that waveform is pulsing up like that. That's a big blast. That's like a harp type blast. That's not all radars. Otherwise you'd see separate arcs. That's just a great big pulsation. See it from all the way down here. Boom, boom. So it's hard to say exactly which type device is doing it. The synchrotron can do that as well here in Melbourne. Your atom smasher, and it's a whole new ball game for your weather. That one. That was a big pulsation. Big pulsations. See? And all that's fucking off. It's just going to hover around over there and it'll slowly strip its moisture over and bring it into this tropical distributor strainer, the colander that slowly trickles down the stuff of where they want it. And it's true. Like you can make a flow here, block that, EMF that, can't get through, EMF that, can't get through. EMF here in such a way, right on through. Boom, have a chembombardia, like diarrhea for your skies. You know, when they're shirting all over you. Pulsations. So I bet your ears are ringing. So that's going to start that spinning as well. So you can expect some supercells to form along this line here to move toward the coast. Now we can look at some of your fungus for the day is the totals. Everybody always wants to know the totals. So you're fucked, right? This is where I tell you you're fucked. You're so fucked. Really, really fucked. That's more accurate. It is. That's a more accurate total there. You've already gotten some of these, but when it came through last night, and that's why that's down a little bit less than earlier. And it's going to do some inundations. Well, you must have got hammered last night because a lot of those totals went down. Down south, they ain't forget about you at all. Nah. You got 24 hours to enjoy the beach. and you're going to get fucked repeatedly, slowly, hammered, time after time. Chem bomb, 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 bomb. You're going to watch the chem bombs to know who's going to get what. Right, you're going to learn to do it. It looks like you got an EMF line, so Maury's going to be beaming, bzzzt, and Tamworth creating a double wall there. Hey, Gimpy looks like you got a little bit of action, but you'll probably beam in this direction here. I'd expect Brisbane to do a 3-on Alp, a pulsing, not a full line. Let's see, who's going to be blasting the most? Perth. I'll be expecting to see the ring there, the full glitch like the other day that only left on briefly, but I'm aware of it. And here's all your fun off the coast. That's all your fun. But most of that came from this direction and went there. Isn't that a relief? Or not such, because they're going to twist that around and that's going to become part of a spinner that's going to be there in about 13 days. Huh? Yeah, I told you. I go way ahead of this 10-day shit this damn bullshit website gives me. This website's information is completely inaccurate a lot, so you have to listen to what I say. I'll tell you what she said, boom, boom. What color are those plumes that they made? Hey, Muba, they get this total too low by about 10 centimeters over the 10s, by the way. That's too low, and I'm disagreeing, so we'll be watching for when they change the number and get honest. This is going to be higher. Yeah, the Dorito falls over here is going to be dippy and wet. I always wanted to see the waterfalls over here, but at some point all these waterfalls are going to chip away with their water falling over and going to change their shape. So you want to get your pictures while you can. And some of them looked a bit dodgy to fall off. Daddy, I always wanted to see this. There's some giants down the valley of my Imaginarium I want to check out. Huh? Yeah, why not? If we lose our imagination, who's going to write the next Lord of the Rings? Exactly. I know who the Lord of the Big Ring is. It's some guy called the Fizzler. Boom, 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 plume. Boom, 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 boom. He gets the Darwin Award. Boom, 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 boom. This is as kindest way I could tell you that there's a third of a meter of rain coming in 10 days here for your city. And all these rivers are going to run through it. Yeah, you are in a big trouble there, I jabberoo. Well, if you were jabberoo, you would trouble anyhow, I think. But all lies in jest. Still a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. Boom, 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 ba boom, ba plume, boom, 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 plume, ba boom. I'll earwig you, It is your destiny. So, right, you've seen the damage and the damage done. New Zealand, I'm just going to give you a quick look. Out of respect to the families, I'm not going to do much geo covering for you. I'll just let you know when the next storm's coming through. You got about 3 days. You'll have some rains coming on and off. I showed you the big picture when I zoomed back earlier. So out of respect to them families, I'm just going to let the locals cover New Zealand right now. I did the same for Lismore. I gave him 7 days to bury the dead. And then I'm going to tell you why he died. That's right. And I'm going to tell you why. Summarized in one word, greedy bastard. Just all one word, greedy bastard. And, well, I'm tired of the greedy bastards frying up the skies, creating EMF corridors, predictable spots for rain, dumping stuff on this lands that are chemicalizing the underground waters and dumping stuff on the lands that's tearing up the leaves on the trees, burning people's roses, and it's falling out in the ocean, and the floods are bringing stuff out into the waters out here, and it's killing my reef, and it's killing my animals. But that which doesn't kill me is going to make me stronger. It ain't going to stop me talking about this. These geoengineer storms are going to fuel the demise of many local community. Over the next year, we're going to see death from storms unlike anything you ever imagined. And you're going to see this week that I was right. And I don't like being right. I'll say that now. So let's do the right thing and right the wrongs. Otherwise, we're wrong. Big love. Peace.